Ever wonder what happens when a neighborhood dictator picks a fight with someone who knows the law better than they do? Let me tell you about the time I moved into Meadowview Heights, a picture-perfect suburban enclave with trimmed hedges and a homeowners association that ruled with an iron fist. I'm a legal consultant, working from home, CRAVYing nothing more than a quiet place to settle. But peace? That went out the window the moment I crossed paths with Linda Harper, the HOA president who thought she was the queen of the cul-de-sac. What she didn't know was that her power trip was about to crash and burn hard. 6 months ago, I unpacked my boxes in Meadowview, charmed by the friendly dog walkers and the glow of community barbecues. The HOA welcome packet landed in my mailbox, stuffed with rules about everything from fence heights to approved mailbox colors. I skimmed it, figured I'd play by the book, and got to work setting up my new place. My first project? A modest bird bath for my front yard, just a stone basin that matched the roses I'd planted. I thought it was cute. Linda? She thought it was a crime scene. The next morning, a neon green notice was slapped on my door. Violation, unauthorized garden ornament. Remove within 24 hours or face a DULA 150 fine. It was signed, Linda Harper, HOA president, with a phone number scrawled in Sharpie. New to the neighborhood, I decided to keep things civil. I dialed her up, introduced myself, and asked where in the bylaws it banned bird baths. Her voice dripped with condescension, like she was scolding a toddler. It's in Section 5, Paragraph 2, she snapped. No unapproved decorations visible from the street. Everyone signs the rules when they move here, so maybe read them before you start breaking them. I thanked her, hung up, and pulled out the bylaws. Turns out Section 5, Paragraph 2 only required approval for decorations, not an outright ban. I filled out the form, sent it to the board, and got approval from a different member within days. The birdbath stayed. Linda drove by, her face sour as a lemon, but she couldn't touch me. I thought that'd be the end of it. Spoiler, I was wrong. Linda decided I was her new hobby. Over the next few months, she bombarded me with notices for nonsense violations. My lawn was too tall, by a quarter inch. My trash can was visible. It was behind a bush. Even my navy blue curtains were inconsistent with community aesthetics. Each time, I'd check the bylaws, document everything, and fire back with polite, airtight responses. At HOA meetings, I'd ask calm questions about her selective rule enforcement, earning me glares that could melt steel. I wasn't trying to start a war, but Linda was loading the cannons. Things got real when I decided to rent out my spare bedroom to a grad student named Ethan from the local university. The bylaws were clear. Leasing was fine as long as I lived in the house and filed the right paperwork. I dotted every I, crossed every T, had Ethan sign the lease, and sent a copy to the HOA board. 3 days later, I came home from the store to find Linda on my porch, grinning like she just won the lottery. We've rejected your tenant, she announced, arms crossed. This is a family neighborhood, not a frat house. I kept my cool. On what grounds? I asked. The bylaws backed me up. She waved a hand, vague as ever. Parking issues, noise concerns, and the neighborhood's character. The board's decided. I wasn't buying it. I'd like the board's written explanation, per Section 10, I said, watching her smirk flicker. You'll get it, she huffed. But your tenant's got till Friday to pack up. I nodded, but Ethan wasn't going anywhere without a real reason. The next day, an email from another board member landed in my inbox, apologizing for the mix-up. The board had actually approved Ethan's lease. Linda was acting solo. I thought she'd back off, but Linda was like a dog with a bone. She kept nitpicking letters about my mailbox tilt, my car's tire pressure, anything to wear me down. I stayed polite, but I was done playing nice. Then came the trip that changed everything. I had to leave town for 3 days for work, so I asked a neighbor to check on the house and told Ethan to hold down the fort. When I got back, Ethan was pale, ushering me to the kitchen. You need to see this, he said, pulling our lease agreement from a drawer. My jaw dropped. The document was defaced red ink slashed through clauses, with notes like, "Not approved," and "HOA violation," scribbled in the margins. "Who did this?" I asked, though my gut screamed Linda. Ethan's voice shook. "Linda came by yesterday, said she was doing an HOA inspection. I showed her the lease, and she just started marking it up. Told me I'd better start looking for a new place." I was livid. This wasn't just petty HOA nonsense, this was vandalism, maybe worse. Linda had conned her way into my home and trashed a legal document. I called the police right away. The officer who showed up raised an eyebrow at first, probably thinking it was just neighbor drama. But when I laid out my legal background, showed him the ruined lease next to my untouched digital copy, and explained how Linda misrepresented her authority to get inside, his face hardened. "This is a legal document," he said, snapping photos. "Defacing it is destruction of property. Entering under false pretenses? That's potentially breaking and entering." I also looped in the HOA board, who were horrified. Most swore Linda acted alone, no board approval. 2 days later, the police called. They'd questioned Linda, who admitted to editing the lease, claiming her HOA title gave her the right. When they told her tampering with legal documents was a crime, she lost it, yelling that HOA rules trumped tenant law. The cops weren't impressed. They arrested her for vandalism, unauthorized entry, and document tampering. Word spread through Meadow VYEW like gossip at a barbecue. Turns out, Linda had bullied other residents, but no one pushed back, scared she'd make their lives hell. An emergency HOA meeting was called, and Linda, out on bail, showed up, red-faced and defiant. "I was protecting our community," she bellowed, as if she were some noble knight. "This is my neighborhood, and I won't let outsiders ruin it." The board shut her down, voting unanimously to boot her as president and off the board entirely, citing bylaws against power abuse. Linda's reign was crumbling, and she knew it. The real showdown came at her court hearing. I was there, along with a handful of neighbors she'd terrorized. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with a voice like gravel, listened as the prosecutor detailed Linda's crimes and her pattern of harassment. Linda's lawyer tried to spin her as an overeager volunteer, but the judge wasn't HOA-ing it. "Being HOA president doesn't make you above the law," she said, her words cutting through the room. "You entered a home under false pretenses and vandalized a legal document. Those aren't mistakes-theory crimes." Linda was found guilty. The sentence hit like a sledgehammer: 6 months probation, a DU Law 5,000 fine, 200 hours of community service, and a 5-year ban from any HOA board. As the gavel fell, Linda's face went ghost white. Her mouth flapped open, but nothing came out. For the first time, the woman who terrorized Meadow VYEW was speechless, her hands shaking as she gripped the table. Her empire of petty fines and power plays was gone, and the neighborhood exhaled in relief. Meadow VYE is quieter now. The birdbath's still in my yard, Ethan's still my tenant, and the HOA's under new leadership that actually reads the bylaws. Linda? Last I heard, she's keeping her head down, probably scrubbing graffiti for her community service. Me? I'm just glad I know the law and that sometimes the biggest bullies fall the hardest when you fight back with the rules they claim to love.